Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. And this, of course, is the Real Housewives of Miami. This is the live review and the art of arguing. We are almost at the end. I think the finale is next week. We already have the reunion has been shot already. I believe they had a 3-part reunion. I have to double check because I really don't think enough will be covered in the reunion to justify 3 parts, but I believe that's what they did in New York a few weeks ago. And this is a kind of a filler episode, but it leads in a big event, which is, I'm here for the big events. I like things that showcase the city. This episode is going to be Art Basel, which we have Adriana, who we know is an art curator, and we found out, and we have known over the years that she's very talented in what she does. She brings different artists to the city. She's excited about featuring a new artist for Art Basel. And we find out that they had about 20, she said 2,500 RSVPs to the event. The different ladies come through and tell us it is a who's who event. So that looked really nice. But the opening scene, congratulations to Larsa Pippen. I really don't have a lot for Larsa Pippen most of the time. I think she doesn't show her real life, her story. She just is there to kind of instigate amongst the other women, as we saw with her and Lisa throughout the season. Their one-sided beef, which thankfully is over. But we see Larsa moving into her new home. She tells us in a confessional that it is basically a construction site. One room is done, but she's still moving in. So I guess she figures that will light a fire under the contractors. I don't know if that's the case. That's brave. So Stephanie arrives bearing a housewarming gift. Stephanie, that's good manners. She says, this is a beautiful job site, but it is a job site. Stephanie is in real estate, so she knows. Alexia comes and she says, you're moving in with construction going on? Larsa says, yes, I'm moving in with construction going on. So we all know that this is brave of Larsa and a little bit crazy. Production asked if she is on budget. She said, heck no, she's not on budget. That is also something that is usually what happens with construction, especially new construction, renovations, anything. Welcome in, Mama Bees. One of the moderators is here. Thank you so much, Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 7, episode 16, The Art of Arguing. We are watching Larsa Pippen move into her new house. So congratulations to Larsa on that. So we get Adriana, who is at the place where Art Basel is going to be, I don't know what going to be put on, or the event center maybe. It is largest contemporary art fair in the world. She's working on it. All of the ladies in the confessional speak on it. I think we didn't see Maddie, Saul, Kiki, or Gertie, but Alexia, Stephanie talked about what it brought to the city. Larsa Pippen. So Adriana's excited about her new British artist that's coming in. She said it's the Super Bowl of art. Think of it that way. She was working with another person who said, well, maybe the World Cup. So I would agree with him on that. Kiki shows, they show us Kiki, Kiki had some good scenes, and I wasn't happy with Kiki this whole episode. Excuse me, but when we first see Kiki, she is getting ready for a photo shoot. Her father, Levesque, shows up. We've heard about Mr. Levesque over a couple of years, with Kiki telling us her story of him either kicking her out or allowing her stepmother to kick her out because she was modeling. So Kiki later calls it a full circle moment where we get Levesque down where she is working. And at one point, Kiki was funny. She said, do you see me naked? He was, no, it's very respectable. So she's still letting him know that you were wrong for what you did all those years ago. And Kiki's right about that. He was wrong. She was 15-year-old and left with a backpack. So thank God that Kiki is her full self now. She said in Haiti, she tells us again, a model was equivalent to being a stripper or a working girl. Kiki calls him something else. And now he's at her show. So I think Mr. Levesque likes the idea of Kiki making it big, even though what he did could have totally derailed her. But we saw that meeting that they had when they had their sit-down lunch. He's almost thinking, if I didn't do this to you, maybe you wouldn't have been there. Because he said something about, look at all these cameras on you. So I don't know. I'm not seeing it for Mr. Levesque. And he has a 3-year-old younger than Kiki's youngest daughter, Summer, who's the baby herself. She's 5 or 6. Kiki says, we started from the bottom, now we're here. I am happy that Kiki gets to see her father while he's still in good health, and she feels good about where the relationship is going to end up at. So good for her. So she's taking a picture in front of like a private jet type situation, and Levesque is taking his own picture. She's going to show this to the people in Haiti, I guess. And Kiki says, joke and tell them that the plane is mine. So, okay, Kiki, you were just saying these people were begging you to bring them here, and you were crying. Now you're flaunting a plane that's supposed to be yours. But she was just joking. So Larsa has Stephanie over, Alexia over to the new house. As we already said, Larsa came in. Welcome in, Sharon Garbo. Thank you for coming in during the live. Larsa, Stephanie came in with the gifts. Alexia is there. We have a scene with Julia and Martina. Jackson and the other sweet little brother are choosing chocolates to put in Julia's daughters or their sisters, Emma and Vika's Christmas bags. The little boy Jackson, he's the bigger one. He's cute. Julia gave him a choice at one point. Is this for Emma or Vika? And he said, Jackson. So yeah, Jackson, you do right. You want all that chocolate. Production shows Emma, which is Julia's daughter, pressing her on, well, what's the name of my school? What school do I go to? Julia, you will not live that down. She did not know her daughter's school. So we find out that could be part of the friction. Martina and Julia discussed the girls, how Martina is still kind of angry. She's still kind of angry about the way that she feels like the daughters treated Julia. But Martina, she's acting in the role of spouse. I think the way that the daughters treated Julia, part of it has to do with the way Julia treated them. Again, we saw a scene. She didn't even know the school that the daughter went to. So now Julia is trying to cover, claiming, if we had adopted the boys while the girls were still home, it would have been a lot smoother, a lot easier. Martina says it wouldn't have mattered. They would have been just as pissed off. And then Julia had to call Martina out. She said, Martina, you're being so grumpy. She was embarrassed about the way the scene was going. Because y'all know, I think, my opinion, let me put the banner up. My opinion is that those two sweet boys might be there to revive Julia's reputation after acting like a savage and throwing germ water on our sweet Gertie, who was surviving cancer at that time and immunocompromised. So they have hop, skipped, and jumped over it, but I have not. I remember that. That was terrible. So we have another scene of Julia being whitewashed. The little boys are cute, though. She's going to get points when she shows those boys, but I don't think she nor Martina have good motives surrounding that. That's just my opinion. And the fact that her and her daughters fell out about it kind of proves my point a little bit. So Julia is saying, we've never had this long silence about us, between us. Martina's sitting there. You were looking grumpy, Martina. Martina was looking like a grumpy old man. And one of the brothers yells out playing, and y'all, the look that came across Martina's face, she was thoroughly annoyed. That's what I saw. And Martina rolled her eyes. I wrote down Martina rolls her eyes. She was annoyed. I don't know if she was just annoyed with Julia or if she's all this yelling and playing and all of this stuff. Martina is pushing 70. I'm sorry, she's not here for that. Other than in a grandmother type role, but trying to raise 2 little babies from scratch and you're a senior citizen yourself, that's a lot. We see another scene with kids. We see Logan and Elle, who are Lisa's kids. Jody and Lisa are playing with the kids. Lisa, you be trying to act too. Lisa's one of my favorites because she's so self-absorbed, but I don't think she has bad intentions. She says, the kids are all over Jody. They just love him. They're like, Jody, Jody, Jody. I didn't see the kids doing that, but they do like Jody. She says she is so glad to finally have a second chance at the family she dreamed of. Now, remember, her and Lenny divorce was just finalized 5 minutes ago. But she says she's glad to have this second chance. Lisa can be so delusional, but it's funny to me because Jody has a level head. She's still hinting and Jody's not going for it. Lisa said, adios, kids. So the kids are finished with their scene, and now it's just Lisa and Jody. They're having a private dinner where Lisa is expectant, trying to be undercover, but Lisa, you're very obvious. The way things are at this dinner, it looks like something's getting ready to happen. He's not proposing yet. So Jody says that, are you hunting again for an engagement ring? Lisa says she's too old to be a girlfriend. I kind of agree. I know what she means about that. says she's too old to be a girlfriend. Jody tells her, excuse me, he doesn't want her to take out the frustrations that she has about Larsa, about Lenny on him. He gives us a couple of examples. Again, Lisa's looking pained in the face because Jody goes rogue during either joint confessionals or the scenes that they have alone. And I find that funny because Lisa don't be acting. Come out here and give reality because Jody's doing it. So that's pretty funny. Sharon says production is just using the beautiful kids to make Julia and Martina look human, but it's not working. They're just cold people. I find that too. I find Julia and Martina very cold, and I wish they would not use these boys for that. But we speculated that they would because remember, it started out that Martina wasn't going to have them shown. Then somewhere along the line, I guess they knew Julia had showed her behind, and they had to do something to kind of whitewash her. I have to say it's not working. The boys are adorable, but it's not working for me. So production shows, y'all, I don't know if they should keep showing this. When Jody is talking about he doesn't want Lisa to kind of take things out about Larsa and Lenny on him, production shows Lenny verbally talking crazy to Lisa, insulting her. I didn't think anybody would put up with you but me. You know, he's trying to do one of those grumpy old men thing. Ain't nobody gonna want you but me. Not true, Lenny. A lot of people would want Lisa. The women only want Lenny because of his money. That's part of the reason Lisa wanted him. So after Jody lets Lisa know that you can't take all this stuff out on me, she apologized. I like how quick Lisa is to apologize. She cries, I'm sorry. I don't want to be this angry person. I don't want this divorce to define me, which those are good goals. But Jody says, he said, if you would take initiative, you just take it on yourself with no prodding from me. You could even read books or go see somebody. You're going to get what you want a lot quicker than you think. So Jody is telling you he does want to marry you. He will marry you, but you got to show that you're going to go to some therapy and get it together. She apologizes again. He's telling her she doesn't have to be sorry. So, and I believe that. I think she doesn't want to be an angry person. She one of those happy-go-lucky personalities. Even when Larsa was trying to fight with her, it was hard to get a fight out of her. So I do notice that about her. So I don't know. I started out, there's something about Jody. I don't know. I really never liked him for Lisa. The other thing is it's kind of rebound. Lisa, you just got divorced 5 minutes ago. So I don't get it. We have another scene. Julia is telling her makeup artist she's going to have full glam, sexy, smoky for Adriana's Art Basel event. Stephanie's in a scene with her helpers or staff, makeup artists. What if I go like this? I don't know if Stephanie's joking or she just likes to be quirky and crazy. What if I go just like this? Her hair's halfway done. Her makeup's halfway on. They said, well, what look are you going for? She said, I'm going for, I'm crazy bees. Don't mess with me. And they said, that's exactly what you're giving. So we go back to Adriana at the scene of Art Basel, which is still being put together. They are doing a walkthrough. The area looks really beautiful. She says she loves the new artist that she's presenting. Again, she says he is British. She said he paints like the great masters. She gave a couple of examples. I think she said Leonardo. She had another example. She is so cultured. I love when they show Adriana popping her stuff. I felt a little sorry to see Adriana the past few episodes moping over her age. And then we find out the lady is 59 and gorgeous. So Larsa shows up. Larsa comes in, and I did like the way she complimented her. She says, girl, you're looking 30. And Adriana, who's feeling better, she's got her spirits back up. She says, some of us age like fine wine, which is true. Larsa says, we do. I like that. Larsa, you're including yourself in that? Okay. I like Larsa's confidence. I'm going to give that to Larsa. Larsa Pippen is confident beyond a shadow of a doubt. So Larsa right away starts gossiping after she compliments Adriana on the event. She says, who do you think put the calculation on the cake? I don't like that. I don't like that. So we get a confessional from Adriana saying she doesn't know who did it, but whoever did it, they're going to get a piece of her mind, which they deserve. Confessional Stephanie says that she enjoyed the cruise and that they are getting along, but she wonders where Marisol kind of stands because she likes to slither. So we still got Stephanie seeing Marisol as the snake that, in my opinion, she is. Marisol does do some snakish things behind the scenes. So Alexis tells Marisol, Alexia, excuse me, Alexia and Marisol are arriving together. Of course, they're in a car. She's telling Marisol that she doesn't talk about Todd to Marisol that much because Marisol's very negative about him. It's true, Alexia. She's seen Todd hurt you over and over, and you used to tell people negative things about Todd. You had whole scenes of it. So when you've made up with the person, your family, your friends, outsiders looking in, they're not going to make up with him as fast. So it's smart not to talk about him in a negative way to Marisol because that is your best friend. So confessional, Alexia tells us that she understands and respects what Marisol says, but she won't let that influence her decision. Now, supposedly they're broken up for good. I don't know. And Todd is threatening Bravo. He said he can ready to sue Bravo if they don't leave him alone because his name comes up every week. He's not on the show. And then his name is going to come up in a negative way as well. And again, he's not on the show. So Alexia says in her confessional, at the end of the day, it's between Todd and I. Let me see if I can get another picture up. I just realized how dark that was, everybody. So Alexia says, at the end of the day, it's where Todd and I. Okay, Alexia. Oh, I'm blocking some of them. Look, Gertie's not even in there. Let me find a better one. Excuse me, everybody. Let me see. I feel like... Okay, there's one. Oh, it's the same. Still not on there? Okay. I won't worry about it. Sometimes if I don't do it before I get online, it's... Oh, here's a fun one. Let me see. Oh, they're blocked out. That was Kiki and Adriana. Okay. Adriana and myself on it, yeah. So Alexia is telling the ladies, and Alexia, why were you doing this? She was being messy. All of the groups started to get together. They talk. They decide that Julia's probably the one that put the calculation on the cake. That's what they're thinking. We're going to find out differently. Alexia is telling the ladies, it's evidently near Christmas time. She's saying that Lisa paid somebody $1,000 to put up her tree. As usual, Julia is just kind of cringy, and she just doesn't fit. She's like, oh my gosh, she's talking so loud. $1,000. I buy $79.99. I put up my own tree. That's good, Julia. That's good for you. Lisa doesn't have time to do that. So we get Lisa in a confessional because as soon as she comes in, they start making fun of her about that. She's saying, I don't see a problem paying someone because it's time consuming and I'm helping the economy. I happen to agree with Lisa. Putting up a tree is sentimental for some people, but with her kids being small, sometimes they are not a lot of help and she'll spend a lot of time on it. And I don't see Lisa pulling out directions and all this stuff if it's a tree that she has to actually assemble. But I think Lisa would have a fresh tree. So even that, there's instructions you have to do with that. Stephanie and Larsa are there. They're still trying to figure out the cake. Kiki and Gertie ride together. Here's where it comes out, y'all. They say they have fun on the cruise. Have you talked to any of the girls since the cruise? Gertie, I think she hadn't talked to anybody. Gertie asked about the cake. You know who did that calculation? Kiki said, I did it. I was surprised, y'all. Kiki, why did you do that? She's going to tell us, but I think she lied. Kiki, stop lying. So Gertie, when she asked about the cake, Kiki said, I did it. They go to Gertie in a confessional. Gertie's like, oh my God, bye. And she sneaks out. That's me, Gertie. This is going to hit the fan, y'all. So Kiki says, somebody was asking me what the best age, and I was asking the best age. I think Adriana said 32. So production shows Adriana saying her favorite age was 35, but Kiki remembers it differently. I think she said 32. So I put 32 plus 32 minus 5. So that gives us 59, y'all. Now, confessional, Kiki lies. She didn't know that it was age shaming. Yes, you did. You knew you had hit Adriana where she lived after she called you ratchet and you didn't like it. Now, I don't blame Kiki for hitting back, but kind of still digging in after their little argument was over and they had apologized to each other. I don't really like that. So Kiki says she didn't know it was age shaming. The next time I just say happy birthday. You're the best looking woman in the world. Or maybe I'll just give her toys. Adult toys. This is Kiki being ratchet again, y'all. You don't have to do all that, Kiki. I've never seen the age on an adult person's birthday cake. That's just me. I've never seen, and I wouldn't want it on there. I just want happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sandra P. Thank you. And you don't have to do that. if it's going to be something funny, or you joking too much or crazy. So I understood Adriana's reaction, but I think she kind of let it bother her too much. So I said, Kiki, you are ratchet. You can be funny and quirky and all that without being ratchet, but you're indeed ratchet. Because why do toys have to come up? Adriana is a 59-year-old woman. I think if she wants to buy toys, she knows where to get them from. So Adriana introduces her artist, Chris Rivers, and he's very polite. He introduces himself, his work. Stephanie and Marisol talk about the holiday, their family. Stephanie brings up her sisters again. Stephanie, stop lying on your sisters. We can tell that Stephanie is the problem. She's saying, and Marisol, because I don't have a relationship with my sisters, I'm developing one with you and this group of ladies. Somehow they start talking about the plane, y'all. Again, the plane. So they were talking about their new start. Remember, new start, Mighty Mouse. But here's Stephanie talking about this again. So Marisol, I don't see it for Marisol, but I agree with everything she was telling Stephanie. She said, I would like our friendship to be pure. I did not go because I don't want to talk about how much something costs, the plane. She might have brought up threats to get left or whatever. Stephanie sometimes forgets she's being recorded. She sits there and lies. I don't like to talk about money. Thank you, production. Production put in about 4 circumstances of Stephanie, indeed, talking about money. The price of something, her Birkin, when she met Karamo and he said, oh, she smells like money. My husband smells delicious. The plane. She said, and I didn't do that. So production shows us Larsa Pippen saying, it's costing her $40,000 to go 22 minutes. And she's not getting any thanks about it. Larsa did say that. But Stephanie, where did Larsa Pippen get that amount from? She got it from you. So you were indeed talking about money. So I got tired of it. I know the ladies did. So Marisol is saying she didn't want to be beholden to anybody with this new friendship. She says not to be rude, but it's tacky. And she doesn't like to be tacky. Stephanie says, not talking to me directly about not going and why was tacky. Both of y'all are tacky. So I'm going to give the tacky, I'm going to paint both of them with a tacky brush. Marisol and Stephanie. So Stephanie keeps referring to the mud room where she and Alexia spoke. Now, I thought this conversation, the two of you were having a heart-to-heart. So I don't like how Stephanie is throwing Alexia up under the bus. But during that conversation, Alexia threw Marisol up under the bus. We see Alexia saying, yeah, we are, we're together, but I am the mouth. So I am the mouthpiece and everything Marisol I think everything I think she thinks, but even more. Okay, Alexia. Alexia is a trip. So we get confessional Stephanie. She's dressed in the red with the wet slick back hair, yelling, there's nothing tacky about Stephanie Shojai. We'll just have to agree to disagree. I think you're tacky, Stephanie. I think Marisol is tacky as well. So the ladies are in a group. Lisa and Larsa are getting along great. Larsa comes over and just hugs Lisa. You glad to have your friend back, Larsa, because you were being mean to Lisa for no reason. Julia weirdly comes up behind Larsa, y'all, and makes a sandwich, a human sandwich. She gets Larsa from behind. Larsa looked kind of uncomfortable because then Julia said, I'm loving you two hugging. I miss being able hugging with my friend Adriana. So Larsa kind of moved Julia back off of her a little bit, turned Julia around, and Adriana are right there. So she directs them to start kind of hugging. Here we go with Kiki. I was just speaking about Kiki. Sharon says, Kiki's being too messy. I hate that production keeps pairing her and Gertie up every week like they're best friends, when we know Kiki doesn't have Gertie's back. Yeah, I see that too. It's like, okay, yeah, here's 2 black girls together. You know what's funny? They had the after show where they did the same thing. But the funny part about that is that they had Julia with Kiki, and neither one of them would have been each other's first choice to be in a scene together. Kiki would have wanted to be with the so-called popular girls, Alexia and Marisol, and Julia as well, or at least Stephanie, because they feel like she's the one with the money. So they got this hugging sandwich, which Larsa Pippen, good job, Larsa. Larsa got out of it and pushed Julia over onto Adriana. So then they end up hugging. So within the group, they are still talking about this cake, y'all. Larsa is still speculating. And who did it? Who could have put the calculation on the cake? Lisa leans over to Larsa and does one of those loud whispers. Kiki did it. She told me. So that was funny. So Larsa is saying, it was Kiki? And Lisa said, I didn't mean you to say it out loud. So everybody was like, oh, Kiki did that? Julia says, I don't think Kiki meant it in a mean way. Adriana goes off. Here you are. You're defending somebody that is doing something mean to me. I'm supposed to be your best friend. I kind of see where Adriana's coming from. Julia does do that. She will defend someone else that's not Adriana or Gertie in a pinch. She'll do it in a second. So what I noticed is that Larsa told Julia, stop talking, because Julia was aggravating Adriana. She was saying, I don't think Kiki meant it in a mean way. And Larsa's like, she did to put it on there, because Larsa's instigating. That's what she does. And she said, stop talking. Gertie had told Julia to stop talking at one point, and she got assaulted with germ water. Do you know what Julia did? She was able to sit there, lower her voice a little bit, even though I don't think she was super loud. She wasn't any more animated than Adriana, who was yelling, but she didn't assault Larsa Pippen. She didn't jump up. She didn't try to dump a bucket of ice water on her head like she supposedly has done Marisol. She didn't pick a chair up, which supposedly Julia has done at a Dr. Nicole event. She didn't throw germ water on her like she did Gertie. She didn't do any of those things. She just keeps trying to calmly make her point. So she tells Adriana, but she said, Adriana, you were telling Marisol about old knees and everything on the boat. Yes, she was. Production showed us Marisol again, said, and old knees and all this kind of stuff. Old wrinkle knees. So Adriana clarified, I'm Marisol's age, and Kiki is younger than me, so it's not the same thing. And Marisol and I go way back. Now, Adriana, I don't know. Marisol doesn't love being picked at about her age either. So I can't have it both ways, Adriana. Welcome in, CC. Thank you so much for coming during the live. CC is one of the moderators, speaking to everyone. So this is supposed to, and it's not supposed to be, it is the Art Basel event where everyone is supposed to be cool and chill and having a great time. Nobody's really into it. Everyone's made up. But because Larsa was on this quest about the calculation on the cake, we find out Kiki has done it. And now the ladies are all into it. So we get Julia in a confessional complaining, I defend Adriana against my own detriment. I'm even risking relationship to new friends. So we go back to the scene. Adriana is still upset that Julia always sides with people against her. And Julia yelled out, I wanted to be your best friend. You're no fun anymore. So there it is, Julia. Adriana's no fun anymore. Same thing, I bet when Gertie was going through cancer, she wasn't fun anymore. So y'all, Julia is a fair weather friend, which we knew. We knew she was two-faced. We knew she was a snake. And now we find out of her own mouth, she's a fair weather friend. So, this part was strange, y'all. Adriana has now added, and Kiki's going around telling people I'm a racist. No, ratchet, it's a term that people use against Black women. Now, Adriana says she said wretched, and her accent made it sound like ratchet. Larsa doesn't really believe it. I go back and forth. Adriana, I think you meant to call her ratchet, and that would get under her skin. I don't think Adriana did it because she's racist. I don't think she is. Adriana, here's the part that's suspect. You have a beautiful friend named Carol. And Adriana's asking Carol, I'm asking Carol, as my best friend that I adore dearly, to vouch, stand up for me, that I'm not a racist. Y'all, why did this beautiful Black woman start saying, Adriana may have said ratchet, she may have said wretched, she's not a racist. Carol, don't do that. Don't vouch for someone as their only Black friend. That was a little suspect, Adriana. It didn't look good. So she's trying to get exonerated over these over these claims of racism, which Kiki did not call her racist. I knew what Kiki meant. You got to be careful it was a microaggression. Let's say that. It was a microaggression. If she indeed mean ratchet, which I believe she did. But then I've heard her say wretched and ratchet. I could go both ways, but because they were in slightly an argument at the time, Kiki, stop being ratchet. I think she meant ratchet. So we get Kiki in a confessional. She's kind of playing dumb. I never called her a racist. But Kiki, you did bring up that it might have had racial connotations, because otherwise ratchet versus wretched versus you acting wild, you talking about whatever, that wouldn't have meant anything. Kiki said, I got to go. I got to get out of here. Y'all, Kiki tipped out the back. Adriana meant to call Kiki ratchet. I think she did too, Sharon, because I go back and forth and I'm like, it doesn't make sense. They were kind of arguing. And I think Adriana has enough command of her 5 languages to know what she was doing. And it got the desired result out of Kiki. Kiki got upset, and then Kiki went for the knees. She hit her at the knees with the age stuff. You're too old to be acting like this. And this has been weeks later, and Adriana's still upset. So, Carol, if they won't put you on screen, don't have them put you over here with some foolishness. I can't vouch for Adriana on whether or not she's racist. Adriana's Brazilian, but some of the white Brazilians are a trip, as are the white Cubans, allegedly, and in my opinion. You meant that, Adriana. So Julia is looking for Kiki. Kiki has tipped out the back, y'all. She said, I gotta leave. Kiki, that's cowardly. If you thought it was a joke and now you're finding out Adriana was still so upset about it, just say, I shouldn't have done it on the cake. I shouldn't have poured more salt on a wound, not a flame, Lisa, a wound. I'm sorry. I thought it was a joke. So we got to normalize that. And then to let Julia be blamed when Stephanie and Larsa were going around giving their opinion of who might have done it. Julia's name kept coming up. So, Julia, you see what they think about you? They think you are cringy and strange and you would do something to hurt someone. And I think so, too, because I've seen it. So we get a preview where Stephanie is having a pajama party. She says she asked for friends and she got them. Oh, Stephanie. Stephanie's not bad. I go back and forth. Sharon, I know you like Stephanie. She just, other than it is kind of tacky with the prices, I think she'll settle in and be better. I've had some funny moments with Stephanie. And I like the way she's always put together. Some of her clothes are kind of like Jackie O or something like that. I don't know. And she'll start bragging and all that kind of stuff. Just put your purse, just put that Birkin on the table like Dr. Nicole. Dr. Nicole doesn't have to say, this is an $80,000 bag. She put it on the table, Gertie oohed and ahed over it, and production put the price up. She didn't have to scream. So I think we'll see Stephanie get better. So the preview, she has a pajama party. She is happy. She asked for friends and got them. We see Peter, Alexia's son Peter, claiming, if you get back with Todd, I don't want Frankie living with someone who don't give a care about him. Peter, stop doing that. Todd had a whole 10-minute video out talking about he still supports Peter. I don't know about to this day, but up until that time, this is about a month ago, and I believe it. He said takes Frankie out. He has breakfast or coffee with him almost every day. They work out together. So that was when he was still with Alexia, or they were back and forth. So Peter should not be on screen talking about Todd. And then we get Adriana's going to confront Marisol again about and going to be calling her two-faced, and also Adriana looked like she's going to be calling this lady old again after all we've been through. So this was a pretty good episode. It was kind of a filler episode, y'all. It was showing us them back in Miami after the cruise, the Art Basel event, which looked beautiful. Adriana did a lot, bringing all those people to the city of Miami. Larsa was saying people come from all over the world to that event. So that was pretty good, y'all. That was a pretty good event. I liked it. So there we are. That was Real Housewives of Miami, episode 16. This is their 7th season. They've shot the reunion. I believe the finale's next week, and then we're going to get that reunion. So we'll come in together and talk about that. And this is Tupac today, y'all. And this is my expression, just that everything's going on. I'm putting together a political discourse, 30 minutes. So that'll be within a couple of days, if not this weekend. And then, of course, Heart and Hustle is Sunday afternoon, Sunday at 2:30. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your weekend. Please like the video. If you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to Sandra P's Gen Extra, and I will see you in the YouTube streets. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you. I'm covering the live button. Let me see how I get it. Yes, Tupac Fire. Thank you, Mama Bees. Mama Bees says great review. Let's end on Tupac Amaru Shakur. We miss him. I wonder what he would think. He would be raging. Raging. And one more. Let me put up what Sharon said. Stephanie just brags too much, but she can dress to the nines. Yeah, I like her clothes. I think she looks really cute. She's young, though. She's only 40. She may dress a little older than she is, but I think Stephanie in season 2, we're going to get her getting into her housewives persona. Everybody enjoy the rest of the day, the weekend. I'll see you in the YouTube streets. Bye.